Have you ever wondered why your cat does the things that they do? Why cats are so obsessed with boxes? Why they like to be pet in specific directions? Or how come they always land on their feet? These are some of the mysteries of the cat world that we are going to try to solve today. But first, it would be nice to have a little help from you. If you could just go down there and click that subscribe button, that would be lovely. Thank you. Now let's get started with logic. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle once said that the whole secret of life is that a cat has 9 of them. What he really meant by this is that cats have 9 lives. But that saying has evolved into something else when applied to the internet. On the internet, a cat has 7 lives. And that's because of the number of attempts you have before your account gets locked out if you forget your password. So what does any of this have to do with cat logic? Well, everything. And I'll explain it all right after. If you've ever tried to train a cat, you know how hard it can be. They don't respond to commands or even listen when you talk to them. It's like they don't speak English, which is probably true. In some ways, cats are kind of like toddlers. They don't understand a lot of what you say, but they do understand body language and tone of voice. Cats will also explore the world around them, trying different things until they figure out what works. Just like kids, they can be stubborn and willful. Just like kids, they grow up and change as they get older. Now, despite what the name suggests, cat logic isn't a specific brand of cigarettes you only find in noir movies. Instead, it's basically a way of explaining the behaviors and attitudes of cats in a humorous way. So they don't operate on human logic. They instead follow their own set of rules, which seem completely irrational to us. This is usually shown through memes, comic strips, webcomics, and videos. The most famous example is probably Lil Bub's Lil Logic series. She has over 2 million followers on Instagram. And if you want to see more cat logic for yourself, you can find plenty of examples online. This is one of the most common ones. If a human is doing something, then a cat should also be doing that thing. Humans sit in boxes, so cats sit in boxes. Humans sleep in beds, so cats sleep in beds. Humans watch TV, so cats watch TV. The real reason for this is because they trying to figure out what you're redoing, so they can either do it too or stop you from doing it. Plus, they also like to be near you so they can attack you when you're not paying attention. Some people believe that letting your cat on the bed is a big mistake, but there is no evidence to support this claim. Cats don't need boxes. They simply choose to use them because they are empty containers that make great hiding spots. But why do they like to hide? Hiding gives them a sense of security and comfort, kind of like being in a womb. And since they can't control everything around them, hiding helps them feel like they're in control of something. So not only are boxers convenient places to hide, they're also handy if you want to get away from something. If you've ever had a cat, you've probably heard them meow at least once. But did you know that they can actually purr without making a sound? Purring is a complex behavior that has a lot of different meanings. Generally speaking, cats purr when they're happy, but they can also do it when they're stressed out, scared, annoyed, sick, or even in pain. The frequency of a cat's purr can indicate what they're feeling. A slow purr means they're relaxed. A faster purr might mean that they want something or are trying to communicate with you. And a loud purr could be a sign of pain. Mother cats will also purr loudly to soothe their kittens. Now, while you might think that your cat is purring because they're happy that you scratched them behind the ears, it could also be that they're just trying to tell you that they want food. It's just like humans. Cats have preferences when it comes to being pet. Some cats enjoy head scratches, while others prefer ear rubs. Some cats love belly rubs, while others hate them. Basically, every cat is unique, so you have to figure out what they like on their own. However, some cats prefer to be pet in certain directions. For example, moving your hand from the head to the tail is usually a no-go. Most cats won't let you touch their stomach, because it's such a vulnerable area. But the general rule of thumb is to pet them in the direction that the fur grows. So that way you'll avoid touching sensitive areas by accident. Most cats seem to have a sixth sense when it comes to knowing when you walk through the door. They'll be waiting for you right by the entrance, as if they knew you were coming home. But how do they do it? Well, they're just listening very carefully. When you approach your house, you make all kinds of sounds. Your car has a distinct sound too. So your cat has probably learned to recognize your approach based on all these sounds. Some cats are more excited about their owners coming home than others, though. You might have to wait until your cat decides that you're worthy of affection again. Some people believe that dogs are better than cats, but cats will prove them wrong. Cats are better at pretty much everything, They can jump higher, run faster, hunt better, and even swim underwater for longer than dogs. Because of this, cats are often portrayed as ruthless killers in popular culture. Despite the fact that they're ruthless killers, cats have been domesticated for thousands of years. In fact, they were the first animal ever to be domesticated. And this was in Egypt around 4,000 years ago. People kept them as pets and even worshipped them as gods. Cats are still popular pets today, especially in the United States where over 95 million people have one. You've probably seen cats batting around balls of yarn, but have you ever noticed how they always manage to get the ball tangled? It doesn't matter how hard you try to untangle it, cats always manage to make it even more knotted. But this isn't really an accident. Cats love to chase moving objects. So when you start winding the ball of yarn, it becomes prey for the cat. Once the string starts moving, the cat will react by swatting it and chasing it. This means that you have to keep winding and unwinding the string, so the cat will play with it. If you've ever owned a cat, then you know that they like to stare at things that are moving. They also like to chase things that move quickly. But when you throw a toy mouse across the room, it seems like they don't care. However, it's important to remember that cats rely on their senses to hunt. Their hearing is much sharper than ours. So when you throw a toy mouse across the room, it makes a noise that your cat can hear. But the mouse isn't moving, so your cat isn't interested. If you want to get your cat to chase the toy mouse, you have to make it move erratically. Then your cat will become much more interested. There's nothing more satisfying than watching a cat knock something off a table, but it's not easy to do. It takes skill, timing, and precision. You have to study your target and calculate exactly how much force you need to knock it off the table. But why do cats do this in the first place? There could be several reasons. Maybe they wanted to get to the object on the table, or maybe they were bored. But the truth is that knocking things off tables is just another way for them to entertain themselves. We've all seen videos of cats jumping incredible heights, but how do they do it? How can they jump so high when they're so small? Well, it turns out that cats have special adaptations that allow them to jump higher than other animals. First, their bodies are flexible, which allows them to twist and turn in midair. Second, they have sharp claws that help them grip onto surfaces. Third, they have strong muscles that allow them to exert a lot of force in a short amount of time. Finally, they have excellent balance and coordination. All these factors combined together allow cats to jump several times higher than they are tall. So now you know all about cat logic. Do you think cats are smarter than dogs? Let me know your thoughts. I've been your host, and you've been watching this channel. See you next time.